But I am super excited to bring this workshop to you guys today. This presentation is going to be all about what you need and don't need to start financial coaching. So if you are thinking about starting as a financial coach, then this video is for you. If you have already started, but maybe you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're not getting traction, you're not gaining clients, you feel like you might be spending time on some of the wrong things, or if you're just questioning like, where do I go first, second, third sort of thing, then this video is also for you. And if you are a veteran financial coach, I would love for you to tune into this video and just reflect for a moment back on your journey. Try to remember back all the way when you started financial coaching, and just let me know in the comments if any of these things ring true for you. If you agree with me, disagree with me. I'm going to be sharing some stories from my journey when I first started, where I totally spun my wheels working on some of the wrong things. And we're going to tackle some of that in this video. So I'd love to hear from you too, the veteran financial coaches. Let me know if I'm on the right track with this. So let's dive into the meat and potatoes of this video, what you need and don't need to start a financial coaching business or to start financial coaching in general. So I'm going to address these in a particular way. I'm going to say, here's what you don't need and here's what you need instead. And then at the end, for all of you who like really clean lists, you like things done in a linear fashion, where my financial coach is at, I see you, I'm the same way. I'm actually going to recap at the end with saying all the things you don't need first and then all the things you do need, but in a very succinct fashion. So if you want to write them down that way, you totally can as well. So number one thing that you don't need to start financial coaching is a certification. You do not need letters after your name. You do not need someone to tell you that you are qualified to do this. There is no certification that is required for financial coaches. And we all know people who are certified in whatever profession and whatever industry they're in, and they're absolute trash at their job. And we also know people who are not certified or don't have credentials and are masterful at what they do, right? What you need, what you are looking for when you are looking for a certification is someone to tell you that you're qualified. What you need instead is belief in yourself. You have to trust that what you know today is more and capable of helping the people that you want to help. It may not be the most financial knowledge of anybody out there. I know I still don't have that, okay? And I've been doing this for a while, but I believe that the knowledge I do have right now is good enough to help other people, right? And the people I serve don't even have what I have, right? You are an expert today based on what you already know. And there might be people who are more of an expert than you in this field. That is okay. They are an expert and you are an expert too, okay? I have this post that I shared a while back on in Financial Coaches Unite about this idea of being an expert. And I want you to think of someone that you look up to in any profession. Doesn't have to be personal finance or money, but anyone. And I want you to think about that person. You probably see them as an expert, right? And I want you to think about somebody in that field or in that profession that knows more than that person does. I want you to think about, like, who does that person look up to? That person is an expert as well, right? But so is the person you looked up to first, right? Both people can be experts. This is not like whoever knows the most is an expert and everybody else isn't. That's not how that works, right? You are an expert to somebody, and that's what you need to believe in order to start coaching people. When clients first start, if this helps you to reframe this in a way that is more powerful for the people you want to be helping, because chances are you want to be a financial coach because you want to help people, right? That's pretty much who we attract in the academy, is coaches who want to help people. So I want you to think about the people you want to serve with this. When our clients first start with us, they don't always believe in themselves, at least not completely, not totally, right? So it's really important for our clients initially that they can borrow our belief that they can make changes, that they are capable of changes, that they can make progress with their money, right? If you are doubting things, they don't even have your belief to borrow from, so they can't move forward. You believing is absolutely going to help them believe in the process, in you, and most importantly, in themselves. It is so important. They will pick up on that energy. The more you doubt yourself, the harder it is for a client to embrace those changes you're trying to help them see. Okay? So do it for your clients if it's hard to think about doing it for yourself, but you don't need a certification. Number 2 thing you don't need is a fancy website, professionally designed logo, fancy handouts, or worksheets. Now, I know this might sound counterintuitive to what I was talking about earlier about a website. What I'm speaking about here is the most robust hosting and server and all the widgets on your website and all of the flashy things that your website can do for you, okay? You don't need that when you first start. You need a place where people can connect with you. If you are watching this video on your cell phone right now, then you already have a way. You can give people your email or phone number to start. That's all you need. Don't let this idea of having some fancy website overcomplicate this step or be a distraction to you. Going down the rabbit hole of learning tech is the biggest time suck to new business owners. Coaches gained clients long before websites existed, you guys, okay? Can a website make things easier? Yes, sure. It gives you one way to a place to send people to, and on there you can have all of the different ways, right? Your phone, your email, maybe an opt-in, some simple things like that, right? However, it is not a magic pill that like most people think it is, okay? You're not gonna like have a website and then all of a sudden like someone finds you and they start, scheduling with you. What you want is a simple website, a website that is fast, simple, and streamlined. And the website kit that I talked about earlier is a perfect solution for this trap that a lot of financial coaches find themselves in. But do not invest countless hours, money, and energy in a fancy website, okay? Not only that, when it comes to like a professionally designed logo, fancy handouts, that sort of thing, the most valuable part of your business is not some fancy Excel spreadsheet that has got cool formulas in it, okay? It is you. You are the most valuable part of your business. You are where the value comes from when it comes to financial coaching. It's the conversations you have. It is your ability to interpret what those various things are showing. So I can't tell you how many times a spreadsheet has actually caused more confusion to a client because they aren't familiar with spreadsheets like we are, right? Or they aren't, familiar with number crunching and analytics and that sort of thing. So we might be able to look at that and that is painting a picture to us, right? That is telling me something. An image in my mind is starting to form when I look at those things. That image is what we want to talk to the client about, not the spreadsheet. Okay. In fact, those things can actually be a crutch to a newer coach because you could put too much emphasis on them when they are just tools for you to use in your coaching. If anything, I think one really good rule of thumb when you're first starting is to not show that kind of stuff to a client and instead you interpret it for the client's benefit, okay? You paint the picture. What is that telling you? You're gaining insights from it, right? It's telling you something, whether this is either going to cost you money or it's not going to cost you money or you're plus or minus in this direction. I want you to take what those things are showing you and I want you to communicate them to the client, okay? You are where the value comes from. All right, number 3, you do not need business checking account, tax ID, a formal business plan, a limited liability corporation, LLC created. Now, what you might need are some local requirements that are going to be based on where you live. Okay, so bear with me here. You might need a local business license or you might need to register your business or possibly register your trade name. Okay, a sole proprietorship is a one-person business that, unlike corporations or LLCs, it doesn't have to register with the state in order to exist. If you are the sole owner of a business, you become a sole proprietor simply by conducting business, okay? So even though there aren't complicated requirements for establishing yourself as a sole proprietor or as a business at that stage, Like I was saying, there may be local registrations or like a business license that you need to comply with in order to make your business legitimate for like your county sometimes, or your city, okay? So you've got a couple of options here. I'm gonna link to something in the description of this video. It is a link to nolo.com, and it's a legal website. There is a 50-state guide to establishing your business. So it literally tells you in the state, you click on your state and it tells you what you need, okay? You can also call your corporation commission or secretary of state, depending on what it's called where you live, and simply ask them. This is what they do, right? So simply ask them, what do I need in order to start a coaching business all by myself? So these are really important words. What do I need in order to start a coaching business that's going to be just me? Okay. Now, I would say coaching and not financial coaching. And the reason I suggest that is because financial coaching is a subset of life coaching. It is not a subset of financial advising. We are not talking about investments, asset allocation, risk tolerances, liquidity of investments, right? We are not talking about specific stocks and bonds and mutual funds and those types of things. But as soon as you say the word financial, it can cause some confusion on what it is you do and what you don't do, okay? I'm not going to get on my soapbox right now of like what you don't want to do as a financial coach, okay? We'll save that for another video, right? But you can simply ask them what this is, what this entails and what you need to do, okay? So those are your options there, but it is pretty straightforward just to register your name or register your business. And they just kind of, it's like when you go into a store or like a nail salon, right? And they've got that little license certificate on the wall. Some places require those types of things for any type of business, right? Okay, next up, you do not need 7 specific steps to walk every client through. What you do need is a willingness to explore the nuances of a person's situations, what they desire, what their experiences have been like, and possible solutions that will work for them, and really try to disconnect that there is one right way to solve a financial problem, right? You also need a focus toward being a student of your craft and learning from every exchange you have with clients, every book and training and expert that you can get your hands on. Because one thing with coaching that we oftentimes confuse, because financial coaching is both financial and coaching, right? And when it comes to finances, there is this message out there that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And then there's the coaching part, which is like there is no right way. There's just the way that the client wants to do it, right? And we need to try and marry those two things. There is an amazing video that I shared a while back about beginner's guide to coaching and how do you teach but not get stuck in the teaching trap. And because we do need to teach financial knowledge to our clients, right? That is one part of financial coaching that is unique to us, is that there is an analytical, strategic sort of like there are rules of the world when it comes to money, right? Like there are certain things that are legal and not legal, right? So there is an element of teaching to what we do. But how do you then shift into the coaching mode and disconnect from like what the client wants to do with that knowledge, with that information, right? And believing that there is one way that everybody has to do something is not coaching, okay? So I really want you to encourage you to embrace this idea that I will explore the nuance with a client and I will not be stuck in sort of just a step-by-step way that everybody should do things, okay? If anything, what I believe is that, and what I've proven true over the last 10 years of doing this, is that the people who seek out a financial coach are the people who have tried a variety of step-by-step offerings that exist. And when those step-by-step, this will work for everybody, didn't work for them, they internalize that and they say, you know what? Either I'm bad with money or I just need something custom for me. I need somebody to like help me create a plan with my money and strategies around my money that will work for me, even if it's slightly different from somebody else. So to be an amazing financial coach, embrace this idea that there is more than one way to do this work, okay, to manage your money well. Okay, next up. You do not need more financial knowledge or more knowledge on a whole bunch of different money topics, okay? If anything, what you need is to really hone in on one topic. Breadth of one topic is better than a variety or a plethora of a whole bunch of different topics. Think about going deep on one topic versus covering a wide array, okay? So this is something that I talked about in a video once before, where it's like during a coaching session, instead of trying to cover a whole bunch of different topics in that session, what I would rather have you do is in one session, pick one topic and cover it in a really deep way, right? Like go into the depth of that, right? Tackle that topic from a whole bunch of different angles, whole bunch of different perspectives, ask a whole bunch of different questions, tackle it from like the past, the present, the future, all sorts of things. That is way more quality. And you're going to have a bigger impact on the client, and the client's going to see better results. So here's some examples. Are you an expert in helping couples save and pay for fertility treatments? Okay. These suggestions I'm going to give, a lot of times people say like, I help people manage their money better, but why? For what? What part of their money? With what goal in mind, right? Or I want to help people get out of debt, but why were they in debt to begin with? What kind of debt? Why is getting out of debt important to them, and that sort of thing, right? There's an entire video also on how I coach clients to get out of debt and that entire coaching process. So you can check that out as well. But the idea here is that those are too vague. They're too general. And I would rather have you focus in on an area and a person that you can really serve well. So are you an expert in helping couples save and pay for fertility treatments? Are you an expert in helping nurses get ahead, satisfy their caretaker tendencies, and without picking up extra shifts at the hospital? Now, are you helping any profession get ahead without picking up extra shifts and overtime and that kind of thing? That could literally work for any profession, but you could literally narrow it down to a profession, okay? Are you an expert in helping attorneys leave their corporate law jobs and the golden handcuffs that come with it? Are you an expert in helping newlyweds start their marriages without debt and with mutual goals they both get excited about, right? These are very specific areas that you can focus on, and you can get really good at coaching on those particular situations, right? Helping couples or a woman or a man, or any sort of spouse on the other side of divorce, right? Or through a separation, or any type of thing like that would also be another sort of area that you could hone in on. So you don't need more financial knowledge, and you don't need knowledge on a whole bunch of different money topics. I want you to take the knowledge you already have, and I actually want you to explore diving in to that particular area with more depth, okay? Explore it even more. Okay, what you don't need to start financial coaching is to have everything figured out and perfect. I used to call myself a control freak, and I've decided that I'm going to call myself a control enthusiast. I definitely like to have, things mapped out a little bit. So I totally understand the desire to do this. And your ability to take action is equally as important as your ability to plan and strategize. This is about doing both. It's not about not planning ahead on anything. It's not about not figuring anything out in advance. That's not what I'm saying. It's about adding to that the application of what you figured out. So there is this saying that knowledge is power. I actually think it should say applied knowledge is power, because you can know a lot and not do anything about it, right? So you have to be taking action as a financial coach and trying to help people, trying to find people to help, right? Market yourself, step outside your comfort zone, taking messy action, as I say, right? One other way to think about this is to learn by doing, right? And not waiting to have everything planned out perfectly, because one way that you will figure it out is by doing it and learning what works and doesn't work in that process. It is one element of learning, and we cannot possibly learn everything we need to know without taking action, right? Also, another reason that you don't need to have everything figured out and perfect is because the client doesn't expect that from you. They don't, okay? I know a lot of newer coaches think that that is the case, that they're afraid to tell a client, like, I don't know, or what if I get asked a question that I don't know the answer to? What I want you to do, if somebody asks you a question during a coaching session and you don't know the answer, here's what you say. You know what? I don't know. That's a great question, and I can't wait to find the answer. Let's figure that out together. I believe one of the skills and the traits that I want my clients to embrace and adopt when it comes to their money is curiosity, the desire to learn. Not that like I'm going to know every answer for them, but that they trust themselves that if they are curious about something, that they have the ability to go figure it out. And it doesn't make them dumb that they don't know the answer. It doesn't make them stupid. They're not like making it mean something about themselves. They're simply thinking, that's interesting. I don't know. Let me go figure that out. And I think the best way to instill that skill in our clients is to demonstrate and lead by example. And the best time you can do that is right in a coaching session. I actually think when a client, I'm getting on my soapbox here. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm getting all pumped up with this. But I actually believe that when a client asks you a question during a session that you don't know the answer to, it is a really beautiful moment. And I want us to embrace it. Like, I think it is such a beautiful time to display to the client that even you, as a financial expert, will face decisions around money or situations around money that you don't know, and this is how you tackle them. This is what you do. Here's the process. I'm going to go research this. Why don't you research that? And then we'll come back during your next session and let's teach each other some things, right? Let's explore this together. I actually think it's a really beautiful moment, okay? So you do not need to have everything figured out and perfect. Now, this next one sounds similar, but it's a little different. You do not need to have everything in your business and in your life planned 3 steps out, or some of you need to hear that you don't need to have them planned 7 steps out or 10 steps out, right? What I want you to have and what you need to have in order to start financial coaching is a commitment to the ups and downs of this journey. And you need to trust yourself that you can figure out anything that's thrown your way. Lean on the amazing community that we've built here in Financial Coaches Unite and believe that whatever gets thrown your way, we can figure it out. We're sort of a mastermind of really smart people, right? Really creative people. We can do this, right? You can ask a question, you can get help, you can receive help from others, and it will be okay. You also need to have, instead of everything planned 3 steps out, you do need to have a commitment to the client journey that you create and focusing on having their steps mapped out so that you can easily lead them through it. This is a huge focus of the Financial Coach Academy because it is so important. Clients don't make changes because of the coaching concepts alone that we are giving them. So it's like, here's what we're going to talk about in this session. That is one element of where clients learn and grow and expand their knowledge and, try new things and all of that. Certainly that's an important element of it, right? But an equally important element of a client's ability to grow and change and get results ultimately as our clients is that they feel supported through every step of their journey, from the very first session or the very first conversation they have with you, that they sign up with you. Why is that step important for them and their growth? What are they thinking and feeling at that stage, and how can you meet them where you're at? That is how you design your business. That is how you design the steps that you are going to put a client through. It's not just, hey, I'm going to build this step because Kelsa said to. It is, at this stage of your client's journey with money, here's exactly what they're feeling and thinking. Here's what they're doing and not doing with their money. And that's why this step right here is so important to build out and craft and to create, because it's literally what they need. And that is how we design it, okay? So that's why those steps are built. And in the academy, we literally follow that client journey, right? And this is why this is so important. For every moment that you are thinking about your 3 to 5 step plan. And what I mean by this, an example of how this shows up is like, well, first I'm going to do one-to-one coaching, and then I'm going to do a course, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to launch this, right? Or first I'm going to have this freebie, and then I'm going to have this, nurture sequence that's 7 emails long. Those are important, yes. But if you haven't built out how you're going to serve your clients yet, then, or at least thought about it or crafted an outline of what that will look like, at least the first conversation you have with clients, then it's going to be harder to get that person results. Your success as a financial coach comes from getting your clients results, right? Like, isn't that why we all got into this? I know one of the biggest fears I had when I first started coaching was am I really going to be able to get people results? Like, what if I don't? What if someone pays me and I can't help them, or I can't, like, it doesn't do any good for them, right? Or they don't save any money, or their budget's so tight, you know, all of those types of things, right? Like, those are the fears and the thoughts that I had going through my mind. Because what I cared so deeply about, and the reason I was doing this work and still am, is because I wanted to help people, which means I want them to see results, right? So my success, your success comes from getting your clients results, and your clients get great results when you lead them through a journey of financial change and growth. So we've got to know what that journey looks like, at least initially, right? We've got to at least have the framework of that built out. I need you thinking about that, not thinking about your 5-step process, okay? For like launching your business and scaling your business and all of that. I want you to be thinking about your client and their journey. Okay, last but not least, you guys, the last thing you do not need to start financial coaching is a course that you can sell to lots of people for $47 or $97. And I literally have like a big flashing red thing on my notes right here because I need to stop myself from going on a major soapbox with this. The best way to start is through one-to-one coaching. A desire to help people one-to-one first allows you to hone your craft as a coach, helps you to learn your style of coaching. It helps you to learn how human behavior and change actually works. Because whatever process you went through to experience financial change on your own is wonderful and beautiful, and you will probably have some clients who are very, very similar to you. But not everybody will care about the same things as you. Not everybody will do things for the exact same reasons as you. And not everybody will want to do it the same way, okay? And by helping people one-to-one, it boosts your confidence and allows you to focus on the one client sitting right in front of you and helping them to figure out all those things for themselves. And you get to observe that. You get to experience it. And after you do that for a number of times, you help a lot of people, you begin to see patterns in what works and what doesn't work. What questions you ask that get the biggest results, that help people experience the biggest epiphanies, right? In their thoughts or in what they're doing, in their behaviors and that types of things. The way to teach some of these technical concepts in a way that isn't complicating and isn't overwhelming to the client, right? That really makes sense and is landing and resonating with them. It helps you to see the patterns in a person's journey around their money and the steps that require the most support, the ones where they really need help talking through this step with somebody, and also the parts that are easiest for people where they can totally do it on their own and it's not a big deal. And all of that input is what you want to use to design a course in the future if you want to design a course. The other thing people say all the time is that like they want passive income. And where I think this comes from so often is one, the marketing around courses. Course developers, course designers are really good at telling people that courses are passive because they want you to buy their course on creating a course, right? There is nothing passive about a course. There isn't. You will still have to make edits and adjustments. Every single week, we get feedback in the Academy, and we are making real-time improvements to the Financial Coach Academy every single week, right? Maybe you want to design a course, and in that step that you discover where this is a hard step for people, they want to ignore this step, they want to avoid this step, right? Because this is a challenging part of financial growth for people. Maybe that's the step you want to add a one-on-one session with them. So it's like a hybrid, right? Then you know to do that, but that is still not passive, right? You're also going to be tracking metrics. So we know in the United States, the average course completion for the United States is 12%. That means 1 out of 10 people complete a course after they buy it. And I think that is so sad. I think it's tragic, right? We are really proud of the percentage of the Financial Coach Academy completion, which is 69%. We do keep an eye on this every single month. Keep in mind, we will never have a 100% completion on our course because it can take about 4 to 6 months to get through the entire thing. And we're always, it's open enrollment, right? So we have people just enrolled this month. And so there's no way that they could have completed it, right? So our completion rate will never be 100%. But because we have taken the work and the observations we have with coaches from one-on-one work with them, we know where the sticking points are, and we've added all of those to the course. We've been able to make it more of a higher completion. It's more of a fun journey to go through, right? It's actually not something you're dreading. It's something that you enjoy, right? So that's why we're able to have such a high completion, something we're really proud of. The other reason I think people desire courses and this idea of passive income comes from having work experience where you don't love what you do, and thinking that like this next step of my career, maybe as a financial coach or as a business owner, is something that I might also not enjoy. And so I want to be able to like not do it all the time, right? It's some of our hangups from our career. And I know when I left corporate accounting, I definitely left not loving it, right? And I want you to instead imagine that you can absolutely travel and do coaching sessions from wherever you are, right? You can build your business however you want to build it. That is totally fine. You can coach one-on-one in any fashion that you want that adds to your life and makes it so you don't enjoy it. You are a business owner now, right? There is no one way to do this. You can absolutely craft this business so that you love it. You can work with people you love. You get to decide who your clients are. You get to decide who you work with. If you decide to hire an assistant, you get to pick your person, right? No more of working in settings that you don't have control over, that you don't have decision-making authority on, right? Like you get to design this however you want. And so trust that you can love one-on-one coaching, and that even if you do want to do a course later, again, this is you trying to map out your business, and I want you mapping out the client journey, right? Even if you want that later, what I want you to trust is that the experience and the insights that you gain from one-to-one coaching is going to serve you best. It is the best contribution to a successful course in the future. I promise. The other thing, you need people to pitch your course to sell your course to. So you need to be building an audience. You need to be gaining clients and testimonials and all these things so that when you launch a course in the future, you have people to present it to. And so all of this serves you way better if you want a course in the future, I promise. So it's not to say, no, you can't have one. It's just not yet. And please don't start there. Again, learning the tech of a course platform, recording videos, editing videos, designing handouts, it is a huge investment of your time, of your resources, and I consider it to be a big distraction really early on for new coaches. It's a distraction from the things that are actually going to move the needle, having real life conversations, sending an email to a potential financial advisor who you want to partner with and have them send you clients that they can't help yet, right? Like those types of things that are hard at first. They're a little awkward. We feel nervous about doing those things, right? And so we do these other things because they're safer. I can work on a course and I can work on my website at night on a computer and no one knows, right? Like it feels safer, but it's not better, okay? Better is coaching your clients one-on-one. So let's recap what the things are that you don't need first, all right? Number one, you don't need a certification or credentials after your name. Number two, you don't need a fancy website, professionally designed logo, fancy handouts, or worksheets. Number three, business checking account, tax ID, formal business plan, or an established LLC. Four, I think I'm on four, 7 specific steps that you walk every single client through. Number 5, more financial knowledge or knowledge on a lot of different topics. Number 6, you don't need everything figured out and perfect. Number 7, you don't need everything planned 3 steps out or 7 or 10. And last but not least, you don't need a course that you can sell to lots of people for $47 or $97. That is passive income, okay? Now, what do you need? You need to have a belief in yourself that you can help people, that you are an expert for someone. You need to know that you are the most valuable part of your website, and your ability to interpret those things are more valuable than any handout. And you need a way for people to connect with you, your cell phone, your email, great place to start. You may need some local registrations or requirements, and you can find those very easily by making a phone call or clicking on the link that I'm going to put in the description. Easy peasy. You do need a willingness to explore the nuance of a person's situation and a focus on being a student of your craft and believing that there is not only one way to do this work. You need to dive into one topic, one area of expertise around money, one situation, more than trying to learn a variety or breadth of a whole bunch of different topics. You need to be taking action, and you need to believe that learning can also come from action taking, and that is a crucial step, that we can't stay in learning and research mode. And that you can tell a client, I don't know, let's figure that out together. You need a commitment to the client journey that you create and a commitment to the ups and downs of this journey, and that you can figure out anything. And a desire to help people one-on-one so that you can gain the experience on behavior change and the patterns that your clients need so that you can build a course later. I hope this was helpful for you. I would love to hear from you. What parts do you agree with if you are a veteran coach? Share some of your early morning or early career stories with me as a financial coach. I would love to hear them. If you are a newer coach, I'm curious if you have found yourself stuck in any of these. If you are currently stuck in them right now, tell me about it and tell me how you are going to shift into the part that you need to be focusing on. And if you've been thinking about financial coaching, I hope that this gives you some insight into what this career could be like. Like I said, I believe financial coaching is the most rewarding way to make a living. And if you would like to pursue that and become a coach, I hope you'll check us out at thefinancialcoachacademy.com. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.